Esha Kaul, Head of Digitalization Portfolio Mobility, Siemens India, for an industry presentation. She will be sharing her insights on the technological initiatives taken by Siemens India in transforming the rail sector in India. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us on the stage. I request everyone to please settle down.
Good morning, everyone. May I have your attention, please? Thank you very much. I worked very hard on this presentation. Can you please take a look? Thank you. All right. So I wanted to cover two things today with this presentation. While in the inaugural session, I did speak about a couple of technology topics, but clearly understanding the audience and the paucity of time, I'd be covering two topics. One is cybersecurity in railways, and the other one is mobility as a service. So let's start with cybersecurity. I did briefly touch upon why do we need cybersecurity now more than ever. Clearly, like we say that, the times are changing and we are becoming more digital than what we used to have earlier as a physical infrastructure. The transformation is happening from physical to digital landscape. And clearly, we need to address this misconception with respect to captive systems being secure, which they aren't. Like I explained earlier, that earlier the systems, when they were designed, times were simple. So the threat landscape was also simple. So when these systems were designed, they did meet all the requirements and regulations. But now, the attackers are very smart people. They are exploiting the vulnerabilities of these systems through their tools and technologies and launching cyber attacks. So clearly, one also needs to understand, why do cyber attacks happen? This is clearly driven by motives. And motives can be different. Motives can be to gain, for financial gain, for example, somebody wants to launch a ransomware attack. It can be for the purposes of espionage, for, conflicting political ideologies. So the best thing to do is that, I don't agree with this government, let's launch an attack on their railway network, things like that. Causing disruption. Denial of services, revenge or personal motives, and sometimes, which is, I don't know, I don't want to call it brilliant, but there are college kids who just want to test their learning. For that, they want to see how smart they are. To determine that, they want to see, how good are their attacking skills. For that also, they try to launch these cyber attacks. Nevertheless, what happens is, whatever may be the motive, there is an undesired outcome. And therefore, it is important that we first need to identify that the systems we have today, how secure they are. Today, we don't even know. There is an assumption कि, मेरे घर में चोरी नहीं हुई है तो मैं safe हूँ. But आपके घर में चोरी नहीं हो सकती क्या? So, आपको पता ही नहीं है. You don't even know what is your security posture. So, first thing is to evaluate, get your security posture evaluated. There are organizations to do that. Once you know where you stand, that is where you start implementing solutions. If I would have asked you what is your understanding of cyber attacks in rail, maybe you would have said, I haven't heard about them much, maybe one or two. This is a long list of cyber attacks in railways starting 2019. And you can see the names of esteemed organizations, the railway organizations that have been attacked. This is the second page. This is the third page. And in the third page, you can see the name of India as well. So we have been attacked. And there is, of course, there are notable attacks across the globe that have also led to injury, that have led to loss of life. And of all, like I said, prestigious railway networks. Some more examples. So if we think we are secure, if we think our critical infrastructure is secure, it's a big myth. So security levels are defined based on the, the intention or motive of the security of attack. Like SL1 is protection against unintentional or accidental attacks. SL2 is protection against deliberate attackers, like I said, some college kids. SL3 is protection against intentional attacks by advanced means, like criminal organizations. And SL4 is attack by nations and agencies, which is sponsored attack. Right now, we are striving that all our solutions at least meet the SL3 requirements, that if somebody tries to launch a deliberate attack on our systems, we are able to deal with it. So clearly, it's not just that the attackers are smart, the defense side is also smart. So good guys are also smart. They have come up with security laws and regulations. There is an NIS directive, EU Cybersecurity Act, that has been evolving since the year 2016. And basis this, guidelines and standards have been defined, IEC 62443, which is the cybersecurity standard, CENELAC TS 50701, which is based on IEC 62443 and is aligned with EN 50126 system lifecycle for the railway applications. Now, I have hidden this on purpose because I wasn't sure if I'm allowed to show this, but then I will still tell you what this is. So, regulations in India are also coming into effect. What is good is that, RDSO is also urging the railway operators to adopt to the EU regulations of IEC 62443 and TS 50701 and not coming up with the cybersecurity requirement for India, because that would have meant that we are creating new products just for India, meeting Indian cybersecurity laws. So we are sticking to the European standards, which are good enough, globally acceptable, and also meet the Indian requirements, so that we don't come up with our series of products meeting the cybersecurity regulations. So there is standardization. Then on top of that, there is also an issuance of letter to all the managing directors of the metro organizations to start adopting cybersecurity for their critical infrastructure. Now, I've been saying critical infrastructure. What is critical infrastructure? So clearly, all the systems need to be cyber secure. Like, if it's a house, you want to protect the entire house. But you, of course, want to protect the room that has all your money in it the most. So that's the critical system. So whether it is your signaling system, whether it is your passenger reservation system, it is your electrical SCADA system. So certain systems have been defined as critical infrastructure that take more importance over the others, and they need to be protected just now. Good thing is that, we are not doing a bottom-up approach here. We are doing a top-down approach, because now the agencies understand the importance of cybersecurity, and they are telling their teams that come what may, cybersecurity needs to be in place. I had briefly touched upon it earlier, IT security versus OT security. So if you have an, IT team within your company, and you think that you tell them, put some firewalls and we are safe. It doesn't stop there, because today we are having a lot of interaction between OT and IT network. So we are sending the data from the OT network onto the IT network. So you also need to protect the OT network. We have to understand that between what exactly is the difference between IT and